980. So let's get to this Marcus Mariota, Ryan Tannehill situation. There's a kerfuffle going on because there's people that agree with the trade or the swap out, and there's people that don't agree with the swap out. So you take a look at these two guys. Obviously, they both had the talent to get them a first-round draft pick. They both were first-round draft picks. One with Miami, obviously the other one with Tennessee. This is the fifth year for Marcus Mariota. I've been saying it the last 2 years. When are we going to run out of excuses for this guy? When are we going to run out of excuses for this guy? And I know this was supposed to be a different year, but you take a look at this player, you take a look at Marcus Mariota, while he cut down on turnovers, he didn't throw an interception until last week's game where he threw two and ultimately got pulled. But you take a look at the red zone, and he produced 7 points despite making 3 trips into the red zone. 2 red zones were taken away because of penalties. And it's just unacceptable. You cannot make mistakes in the red zone. So while it's not all on Marcus Mariota, a lot of it has to do with Marcus Mariota and his red zone struggles. Another thing is his indecisiveness. You take a look at him, and he can't decide what the hot read is, where to go with the ball, what's the best place to put the ball in decision to make for the receiver to go and get the ball and get yak, yards after catch. You take a look at this offensive line, and don't even start with those offensive line woes. Because if you take a look at the next-gen stats, the NFL next-gen stats, the offensive linemen have been pass blocking very well. They sustain their blocks for at least 2.5 seconds, 62% of the season. That's good for 5th in the NFL in block, pass, win rate. You take a look at Marcus Mariota. The problem is Marcus Mariota being indecisive and averaging 2.84 seconds before throwing a pass. That's 9th longest average time in the NFL. So when the Titans are doing their job up front, Marcus Mariota is not deciding quick enough where to go to the ball. Some of that has to do with receivers not getting open, but a lot of it has to do with Marcus Mariota maybe not feeling comfortable in this offense, or maybe just not being the quarterback that people want him to be. Now, why do you make the switch to Ryan Tannehill? Because Ryan Tannehill has shown the ability to ball out when he's healthy. Both these quarterbacks have had their issues with injury. But Ryan Tannehill, he flazed out in Miami, but a lot of that had to do with injury. You take a look before he tore his ACL, back in the 2016 season, he led the team to 8-5 record on their way to eventually making the playoffs because of the situation he put them in. He was averaging 67% completion percentage that year. 19 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He was doing everything he could to get that team in the position to win. And you take a look at what he's done, Ryan Tannehill, what he's done, and it's really not that bad when you consider the talent that they've had in Miami over the years. They've gotten rid of Jay Ajayi, gotten rid of Kenny Stills. They got rid of, obviously, Kenny Stills over the offseason, but they've gotten rid of all their talented players. This is a place where talent comes, they grow a little bit, and you ship them off. But you take a look at that 2016 season when he actually had a little bit of talent. He had Jay Ajayi. He had Kenyon Drake. He had Jarvis Landry. He had the pieces around him. He had Devontae Parker. He had Kenny Stills. You take a look at this offense right now, this Tennessee Titans offense. They have A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, Delaney Walker, one of the most underrated tight ends in the league, Delaney Walker. And you have a bruiser in Derrick Henry, and then a change of pace back right behind him with Dion Lewis. So I don't understand why this offense is so stagnant. But you turn to Ryan Tannehill because, by all God, by everything that is good in life. This man, Marcus Mariota, has had 4.5 years to show himself. And you know what? The excuses are over. You have A.J. Brown on the outside, a very good rookie receiver, who I think is going to have a better career than the beloved DJ Metcalf with the Seattle Seahawks. You have Corey Davis, a speedster that can go up and get the ball. You have a value tight end in Delaney Walker. That's a stem right there that you can use on third down. That's your go-to reliable tight end that every team needs. But yet, this offense is not producing. Marcus Mariota's contract is up after this year. Do I think he could be a Titan next year? I do. Only for the simple fact is, where do they go from here? They're going to have to draft a guy. They're going to have to get another plan in place, because 31-year-old Ryan Tannehill, as talented as he is, he's not going to be the answer. He's 31 years old, and he is what he is at this point in his career. Unless he has some godly reassurance and revelation where he becomes this whole different player, I don't see him succeeding in Tennessee. But I think he's a better option than Marcus Mariota at this point. I think that people are going, why'd you yank the cord so quickly on Mariota? This guy had 4.5 years. You got talent in there, you got the offensive line straight, and this man has just been inaccurate, unable to leave touchdown drives, unable to leave scoring drives. And I'm sorry, the offense has been very stagnant. You needed something to change. And that something to change was Marcus Mariota. So you get Ryan Tannehill in there, and he's going to be able to provide a little bit of a spark. Now, unfortunately for him, this Sunday, his first start with the Tennessee Titans is against a very good Chargers defense that's only allowing 20 points per game and giving up a total of 321.7 yards per game. And that's like the Tennessee Titans. The Titans give up 15 points per game and 321.8 yards per game. So this is a very good defense that he's going up against. But like I said, in 2016, when he had that good year where he went 8-5 before he tore his ACL, he's shown the ability. When there's talent around Ryan Tannehill, he can produce. And guess what? We just talked about all the talented players that the Tennessee Titans have. The A.J. Brown, the Corey Davis, the Delaney Walker, the Derrick Henry, the Dion Lewis. They have the pieces around him. They have a scat back. They have a bruiser. They have big wide receivers. And that's not even including their off-season acquisition of Adam Humphries. So hopefully Ryan Tannehill is going to get on the same page with Corey Davis, because we've seen with Marcus Mariota, there's times where Corey Davis goes off. If you remember that game last year against the Eagles, Corey Davis had a monster game. And you know what? The very next week, it seemed like Marcus Mariota wasn't even looking his way. And they need that kind of chemistry between the wide receivers and the quarterback, because by all means, the offensive line is doing their job, but the quarterback is not. That's why you make this change. I'm Zach Harrison. This is For the Love of Sports.